What's good? You're watching Daniel and Gian Talk Shit, where we discuss Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4, and Daniel's experience at the Slayer and Metallica concerts from the past 2 weeks. What's good? You're listening to Daniel and Gian Talk Shit. I am Gian.
And I'm Daniel.
And, it's another week here in the summertime. HBO's going strong with
Real strong.
the Juego de Tronos.
It's funny how the shortest episode of the whole series, that was the shortest episode,
Right.
contained like probably the most amount of information you could probably pack into 50 minutes.
Right.
Like it almost makes me feel like all the episodes should have been 50 minutes.
You think giving them extra time, like, gives them too much, like, chance to fuck around?
I think so. I mean, at least for this particular episode, I feel like this was perfect. Like if this episode would have gone any longer, it actually could have ended at any point. Like during that last battle, there was moments where I'm like,
Well, you needed the cliffhanger at the end, though.
well, I mean, but even then, like I never expected it to go that far. Genuinely, there were moments where I'm like, oh, the dragon's here now. It's going to cut to black, or it's like
and
whatever.
save that for next week.
Exactly, like it, and then even then, when the dragon was like burning people, I was like, oh, okay, it's just going to end with the defeat. Like no, it went into a battle. Like,
well, they had to show the weapon. The weapon was
they
effective.
Did. But they could have done it they could have done
the
it
weapon they ripped off from fucking The Hobbit.
Sure, but I'm just saying though, like it could have been saved for next week. You know, they could have saved on budget. And
I would have been pissed off. But I would have been upset because I was like into the action. Like I was the most excited I've been this season.
Well, it's the first time you've ever seen two characters that you actually don't want to die literally fight each other.
Right.
I mean, Jaime's not a hero, but you don't hate him. Like
I didn't care if
himself.
if Jaime had died last night.
It would have been fine.
I wouldn't have cared. If Bronn would have died,
he's dead now.
We don't know if he's dead. He saved Jaime.
No, I know, but he's dead now. He sealed his fate. Let's put it that way.
By saving Jaime?
Yeah.
You think they're going to fish him out of the water?
No, I mean, they're not going to escape that.
Let me tell you something about Bronn. Bronn is not going to be like when Daenerys says, you must bend the knee to me or die here on the field. He's going to be like, cool, I'm in. Because that's the type of dude he is. That's what that whole, I feel like that's part of the scene. I mean, what I picked up from that scene was that he has a friendship with Jaime. Like he likes Jaime.
Or he wants, never mind.
Or he wants to hit it. But at the same time, he brings up the castle. Whenever Jaime tells him to do something, he's like, "Are you fucking serious, man? I ain't trying to do this shit right now."
No, I know. They're buds.
Yeah, like he's doing it. He's doing it for the money,
but also for him. I mean, he's clearly doing it for Jaime.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I don't know what else besides Jaime though. It's not for the kingdom.
No.
He's not doing it for Cersei because there's that shot where he drops the gold during that fight,
right? And
he just goes and gets the scorpion out, which is the weapon that you were talking about,
right?
But he made the decision right then and there.
Yeah.
And, he's doing it for... I mean, but is he doing it for Jaime at that point? Or is it doing it because he wants to fucking slay a dragon?
I mean, I think he was trying to save his ass.
His own ass.
Yeah. That's the kind of guy he is.
He could have ran away, though,
that's
too.
the kind he's always been. Well, he's not that kind of... He's not what's his face? He's not Theon.
Right.
He's not going to jump in the water...
To save my ass.
To save his ass. But he's gonna take the opportunities that come in front of him. Because, I mean, this guy's a businessman. And he's looking... In his head, he's thinking, if I bring this dragon down... That fucking castle that they're going to give me, whoa, boy.
It's going to be more than that.
Yeah.
I'm a legend.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a dragon slayer.
Exactly.
Bronn the dragon slayer.
Exactly.
That's actually what some people were theorizing, that like by the end of it, Jaime might slay one so he can no longer be the king slayer,
but
dragon slayer, and actually have a good legacy.
Well, anyways, we started like right at the end of the episode.
We should start from the beginning, or more towards the other like non-big event stuff, like to piggyback off our previous videos. So for those out there who keep up with our videos, we just posted a video last night or early yesterday morning,
a couple hours before the episode aired,
right, ranting about an article we read about one annoying thing, blah blah blah, right? Isn't it hilarious how the showrunners are making effort to like being gender inclusive,
right,
to show that women are in control, all of this stuff, right? We can see the writers' hands at play here. That's what their intentions are. But what do? When shit goes down, who does Danny go to first? John, help me.
Yeah.
I have no one else. John, help me. Oh, okay. But that's okay. No one's going to bitch about that.
Right.
But clearly, that's because our writers know, that the male superiority is kind of important in the world of Game of Thrones, especially Jon Snow's I mean, because it was to me, it was like it was funny because you have all these dragons, you have all this shit, you're all these fucking titles that you made a big old deal about last week, and then you're gonna come in and be like, "Oh, John, help me. What do I do, John?"
Right.
That weakens your character,
right?
And for me, it just
see, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I feel like that was more like she's been listening to Tyrion this whole time. She's been like,
she doesn't know John though.
I know, but that's not what I'm saying is like she's been like through gritted teeth. She's been listening to she's been doing everything that Tyrion's told her to do, and
he was wrong last week.
And Tyrion's been fucking up lately, So she's like, you know what? I don't want to listen to your fucking ass anymore. Somebody talked me out of going into fucking King's Landing and burning the fucking place down.
So why ask John though?
I mean, I think by then they now have a connection of some sorts, a weird incestuous
I read a review
connection.
on IGN, and they were saying that it was like
I think
there's some. She was looking at him, and he was looking at her, and like I didn't see that. I genuinely did.
Oh, I totally saw the sexual tension. They got really close in the frame too. But we're jumping the gun. So we start off. We see the reunion of the Stark children. This is the last living Stark children. There's no other Stark kids alive.
No, Recon's dead.
I found it interesting that it's official now that Bran is not Bran.
Oh, he's said it himself. He's not Bran. I know how to access Bran, but I'm not Bran anymore.
And that was weird. That was a weird interaction between him. I don't know what Mira wanted from him.
Oh,
that was it was kind of like
that's it.
Yeah, is that what?
You're not gonna fuck me now.
You just gonna hit it and quit it? Is that what it? Oh, my pussy good. Now you don't want my pussy no more. Now you kicking me out? Is that what's up?
And after I dragged your ass,
yeah,
all the way
exactly.
Down to
I dragged your ass down. Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna leave me like that?
Yeah.
But she's the one who's leaving.
Yeah, but it was a weird interaction. Like maybe she was she? I didn't understand the purpose of that interaction other than revealing that.
She's going back to her family.
Well, that's fine, but I think it was supposed to be for Bran to let us all know that that's not Bran anymore.
But see, I got that scene with Sansa and Arya when they were at the tree.
So it's kind of a waste of a scene.
Well, I mean, maybe it was that. Maybe it was the writer's way of closing her character off.
Okay.
I mean, they did that with the Sand Snake, the queen. She's never going to appear in the show again.
Right.
They said that last week, that was it. That was her final scene. We'll never see her again. We'll never get another update. She's going to die.
Yeah.
However we imagine.
She's not important.
Sure. Well, yeah. Thank you for finally admitting she's not important.
I didn't say she wasn't important. You're being upset about her. You being upset about how she was being utilized was what I was arguing with you about.
It's not important.
Mira's not important either. I mean, she was part of the Bran episode. She did save him, but
that's it.
At the same time,
but who knows? Maybe she's gonna go away and then
maybe she's gonna come back and be like, "You're not the three-eyed raven. You are not the three-eyed raven," and then he's gonna snap out of it.
You still don't know how it's fucking what the point of his story is yet.
Right.
I mean, he's still being utilized in a way that's too mysterious where it's okay, now we get it. If next week...
Well, next week, then the preview, they showed that he already sent word to John about the White Walkers.
And it's going to go down because the fucking... I think my theory is going to get proven correct that when... what's his name? The dude with the beard? I always fucking forget his name. The Wildling.
Gandalf?
The Wildling.
Giantsbane. Tormund Giantsbane.
He's over in Eastwatch... And I think that's
and they showed each watch.
And so I think they're going to go around the wall, and that's where everything goes down. But I'm just saying though, if they focused on the whole Bran's not Bran anymore next week, that's when it's going to get tiresome because we get it now. We don't need not only do we get it, the people who know Bran and respect Bran, they know it too.
Yeah.
Sansa knows it now 100%. She's convinced that he's not he actually knows shit.
Yeah.
Just because the way he interacted with Arya. I don't know why they brought the dagger up. That's another weird... there's a lot of weird plants in this episode that I don't understand.
The dagger, my theory is it's going to...
So Littlefinger
it's going to connect to Littlefinger, and it's going to be Bran looking and going to tell them that the reason why the whole dagger connection is because Littlefinger is the person that hired that assassin to kill.
So do you think Littlefinger's going to kill him again? Try to kill him again?
No. But I don't know why Littlefinger decided to give him the dagger. But I think it's because Littlefinger's, he's a trickster.
But you don't think that he's suspect that Bran is different?
No.
So maybe that's why he gave him the dagger as
Maybe it was just a way for him to talk to him and be like, okay, what's this dude's deal? But he says something to him, and then you see Littlefinger get a little trigger. Yeah, I guess I'm assuming
he said chaos
I feel like
is
that's
a ladder.
I feel like that's something. I feel like that's something that Littlefinger said in the earlier episodes, maybe.
Oh, and he was like, "What the fuck? How
exactly,
did you know I said
exactly. That was one of those.
I'd have to rewatch it if that's the case.
I'm not sure.
No, it makes sense because I didn't. I had to rewind it because I didn't know what he said.
Yeah,
And then I still didn't know what he fucking said. And then I read it. Someone wrote it down.
Right.
And they said, he says chaos is a ladder, which makes no fucking sense to me. But if he did say it, I mean, maybe that's why you might want to kill him again.
Chaos is a ladder to the throne, because Littlefinger wants to be the king of Westeros. That's his whole plan.
Well, sure. But let's just say, let's say he did say it just for this, because it makes better conversation. Well, then if he said that, then he might be suspect of Bran. And could you imagine Littlefinger killing Bran before shit goes down? Like, there's no reason why Bran can't die before the end.
No, definitely not. Well, if he dies, that's gonna fuck.
Exactly.
They need the three-eyed raven. So
well, we know they need it,
right? But I know. But also, the dagger made Sansa suspect of Littlefinger. She told him like he only gives you things when he wants something in return.
Exactly. They all are on to him.
They're on
he's
to,
fucked. That's why I don't understand what the significance of the story is.
He's gonna get his. Well, he needs to pay. He needs to pay for what he's done.
But at the same time, see, I agree with that. Like, he's gonna die. There's no way he doesn't die, or maybe he doesn't die. But he's gonna be in a position where he's no longer himself,
right?
Unless maybe they make it so he is in a position of power, because that's just the way the world has worked so far. But I feel like the world is changing now,
right?
But he's been built up so much. We've invested so much time in Littlefinger that he's kind of been relegated to a non-important character right now. And I hope that doesn't mean like his final arc, because I don't think he's arced yet.
No.
And I hope
he's going to come back.
But he has. I mean, it needs to be something worthy. Yeah. I feel like, because you've like, he's a big story.
He's either going to redeem himself or he's going to die. Like, he's going to get caught up on all the shit that he's pulled.
It needs to be worth it though. It can't just be Bran saying like, "Oh, you actually tried to kill me, and like you're actually the reason why everyone died," and then he gets killed. Like, if that's the reveal. If he doesn't have one more, I guess what I'm saying is like, I want one more scheme.
It's got to be a big scene.
I want one more scheme though, not a scene. Like another scheme in play. Like, I want him to try to like, I don't know, whatever, take Sansa out or something. Like something where he's trying to like, he's still fucking Littlefinger.
Well, the one thing I took from all of this though is like, whatever he did to Bran, he still wasn't important enough. Like Bran, whatever he's done or whatever he's gonna do, because I don't know if Bran can see into the future or if he can only see like present and the past. He didn't seem important.
Well, you know everything. He didn't see everything.
He didn't seem urgent enough for Bran to spill the beans on him to anyone. Like, he just didn't care. He's like, fuck this guy. I don't give a fuck about him. Now, Arya. Someone was wrong about Arya last week.
Yeah, she came back to Winterfell, but whatever. I don't understand why she really did though.
There was no significance to that. Like, why did we need to see how much of a badass like fighter she is now?
What, when she fought Brienne?
Yeah.
I didn't think she was that badass.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
She was pretty badass.
No. I mean, like...
Oh, you didn't realize that she was that badass?
I don't think they built her up to be, like, standing up against Brienne.
We never saw her do anything like that.
Right. So, to me, it was a little, like... I feel like...
She was getting her ass beat by the wench left and right.
That's why I don't get it. Like, for me, I can see how... Like, it's a cool scene. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Like, I appreciate it. I like the respect that was built. Like, you... Especially in front of Sansa and Littlefinger. Like, they both know, like, this little girl grew up. She's not the one to fuck with anymore. But at the same time, it was not built up. She was getting beat up all the time, like you just said. She killed the one girl because she surprised her in the crypt. But other than that, that's it. What did she do? Like, what big fight did she have where she actually got into combat with somebody? No one.
None. She's not.
So I don't know. And then, like, they didn't really train her in like, what's his name?
Syrio.
He did, but how many fucking years ago was that?
Right.
And you're gonna tell me you're gonna be
and
able
it wasn't
to beat
for
Brienne,
very long either.
And you're gonna beat Brienne with no. Like, even you can only practice your. I can only shadow box her so long.
And we didn't see any fight training when she was in the.
Well, they had the
many face god
when she was
temple.
blind. They did.
They had her training fighting.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
They were hitting her with the stick or whatever. Like, she couldn't see. Like, so I'm not saying her reflex. I'm not saying that it wasn't a justified scene where she can fight. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that she's fighting Brienne.
Yeah.
Brienne has been proven to be the toughest fucking person in the Game of Thrones.
Right.
I mean, literally, she beat the Hound and fucking Jaime when he had two hands. Right? Because he had two hands when they fought the first time. Or on that bridge. And she fought a fucking bear, too. I think isn't there a scene where she fights a bear? They put her in a bear pit?
Well, Jaime saves her, and that's what cost him his hand.
There you go. That's what But I'm just saying, though, like, Brienne's been proven to be the toughest person.
Yeah,
like,
she's pretty hardcore.
Even like the Hound, and the Hound was like pretty much the big swordsman before that, and she kind of fucked him up.
Yeah,
well, that's because the Hound has balls. But I don't know what happened to Hound too. Like, he hasn't been in 3 or 4 episodes. Like, what's going on with that storyline? I know it's not relevant to this episode, but it's like
my guess is next week he's going to be there for that battle
at Eastwatch.
Yep.
You think they're going up there?
Well, they were in the snow last time we saw them.
That's true.
And they were heading that direction. So I think they're going to be a part of that because they know what's going down. So how do you feel about all this incest, man? Like, I feel like no one's ever justified the incest between Jaime and Cersei. How are they going to justify it with Jon and
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. I think... I mean, obviously I don't know, but
that scene, let's break down that scene. Like, she's like, she's basically saying, if you marry me, I will help you. And that way you don't have to bend the knee. And that way your people will accept me as the ruler. That way we're combining the North and the South.
I must have missed.
They were in the cave.
No, I remember.
And he's like,
I was looking,
he's like, Jon, you need my help. I want to help you, but you have to bend the knee. And he says, I can't. My people don't trust you. They've been through too much. And she says, well, what if we don't have to do that? What if... She basically says what I don't know what exact line was, but it was basically, well, what if you don't have to do that? What if they don't have to accept me as a queen, but they accept you as a king? You know what I mean? And that was her saying, like, if we get married, there was definitely sexual tension. Like, if you look at the framing, they were very close to each other.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying I was paying attention.
And then afterwards
to the background more than anything else,
right?
Because I wanted to see like the paintings and like. Before, like, they explain it all, I'm like, oh, that's the same, shape of, like, whatever. And, like, I'm trying to piece it all together history-wise. Like, I wasn't even paying attention to them, too. I'm serious, because I was thinking about, like, literally in those moments, I was thinking, like, ooh, did the first man and all these people come here to Dragonstone to come mine this glass? Like,
right.
Is there the reason why they have all this written down here? So, like, they know, like, this is actually history repeating itself? Like,
right.
We're watching, if we were to look at the history book of Game of Thrones, we're watching a significant part of history right now.
Sends the children.
Right. So that's what I was thinking. Genuinely, wholeheartedly. I was like in my whole other world. Like, I heard the lines, but I guess I wasn't thinking about it.
And the scene, that's what the scene was about. Like, she's like saying, let's combine
I still don't think it's going to happen.
I mean,
because
what if it does happen? Because I'm saying, like, that's fucking weird, is it not?
Not in the show.
Well, the Cersei Jaime thing's been weird the entire time.
I mean, let's be
real. And people in the world have criticized them for it.
Let's be honest here. This might be not Game of Thrones related, but if you grew up not knowing somebody, right? And then they go and like, because Jon, for all intents and purposes, has been a Stark his whole life.
He doesn't know. She doesn't know.
And no one knows. Mm-hmm. He's been a Stark. And if they get romantic with one another, it's kind of like Luke and Leia.
Right.
Luke loved Leia. But you can't hate Luke for fucking kissing Leia in the first Star Wars. I mean, obviously, George Lucas didn't write that they were siblings yet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, regardless, they didn't fucking know each other.
Well, we didn't know either, though. That's the difference. So we know now.
Sure.
The audience knows. They're watching.
In episode 8, if they fucking make out, then it's cut fucking weird now. But I'm just saying, you don't think... I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying it's justifiable, but you can kind of get away with it. Because it's like,
I mean, there's things that, like, back then, like, in medieval times, royalty would marry in, like, weird shit like that just to keep the bloodline the same. That way they didn't have to...
Jon doesn't want to be a king. I don't think...
No, I don't think he does either.
I just think...
But he's also is willing to make sacrifices for his people.
I think if they can kill the White Walkers, he doesn't care about whatever.
Right.
I think if he can kill the White Walkers... which is the true evil.
But he won't bend the knee.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think if he kills the White Walkers, he'll relinquish his power. I don't even think okay, that's fine.
But then his people will feel sold out.
But at the end of the day, I think I believe, and maybe this is just reincarnated Jon too. Maybe that's the other thing. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just wants to do whatever he needs to be done to get the fucking White Walkers wiped out. I don't know. I'm just saying,
he would have done that already, though. He would have done that from the very first meeting, and he didn't.
What, you think bending the knee already?
He would have done it if he's like, you know what, I just need your help.
That's not a guarantee, though.
Well, but I'm saying he did it because in the back of his head, he's like, you know what, if I do this, the people in the North, he's already been killed by people for doing shit that they weren't about. He got killed by the Night's Watch because of letting the wildlings in. If he does it as the same, him saying, okay, I'm going to give up the North and give it to you.
That's what I'm saying. He's not willing to do that.
He's not going to sell out the people.
He needs the guarantees. There's no contracts in Westeros. He needs the guarantees.
Right.
Until she's on the battlefield, that's the one thing he can hold over her, in my opinion, is like, yeah, she has dragons and shit like that, but it's winter now. Mm-hmm. Like, it's winter, and these are the people of the North who are basically that's their fucking home territory. It's like going to Russia, I think. I mean, no one's ever said that, like in Westeros, like in terms of my readings, that like the North would be like Russia and the Germans going to invade. You know, that was their downfall. The Nazis, they went to fucking
the Battle
Russia,
of the Bulge,
and they couldn't fucking
they froze to death.
Exactly. So like, you know, and now that dragons can be injured, not that John knows that, but you know, we know that now. And so it wouldn't be past the ingenuity of the people of the North to do something.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of fucking unanswered questions going on.
I mean, there's just so many fucking characters and storylines to go through. Can we find out the runtime for next week's episode? And back to the romance, Sir Davos also mentioned something to John, like, "Oh, I see you looking at her all the time." You know, it's there, it's in the air, you know. And then the interaction with the.
Well, okay, if they get married, is it gonna matter?
I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I feel like, man, we know too much.
Well, what if they get married, but it doesn't like so? Do you feel like
it's platonic?
Do you feel like if they get hitched in any way, it'll be before he finds out that he's a Targaryen? Like, do you think John will ever figure out he's a Targaryen?
It might be one of those deals where, you know, Bran decides not to say anything because...
Or fucking Littlefinger murks his ass, and he can't tell...
Our Littlefinger murks him.
Because, okay, look, for reals...
You want Bran to die, bro.
No, listen. Here's a scenario. I just thought about it right now. Oh, to answer your question, next week's 59 minutes. 59, episode 5. Episode 6 is 71, and episode 7 is 81 minutes. So, but anyway... I'm pretty sure Littlefinger knows John isn't a bastard. I'm pretty fucking sure.
You think he's onto
it? So
it?
if Bran somehow if Littlefinger somehow suspects that Bran knows that John isn't a fucking a bastard, I don't know why that would be weighty, but maybe there's something where it's like, I need to keep him quiet somehow. I'm just saying, like, we don't really know why Littlefinger does the things he does.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, same thing with, what's his name?
Some people just need to watch the world burn, man.
The bald guy.
Varys,
yeah.
Well, Varys told us last episode what is.
But he said a lot of shit. I
kind of believe him in this. He was a bit genuine. I
mean, I've always believed the honesty, but there's always a little bit of like, he's always been underground saying what I need to make sure I don't get killed.
Right.
Just like Littlefinger. I mean, that's why they both connect so well, because they're the fucking same person. They just go about things differently. And so I'm just saying, like, maybe John never figures it out and then they get married and we just know that they're fucking incestual, but no one else knows the better. And maybe that's for the better of the people. I mean, when you really think about it, if John's this bastard... And he's the Stark bastard and all this shit. And
he's from the people.
And he brought back the North.
He's the man of the people, yeah.
And then Dany comes and like removes Cersei and all the other bullshit and helps with the White Walkers, kind of like unites the people in that way. And they do get married. It is a kind of bittersweet ending that they're fucking siblings and like it's just a Targaryen regime all over again or something. But it's just...
It's an aunt and nephew. Is what it is.
That's what it is? What did I say?
Yeah.
Cousins?
You said siblings.
Siblings, oh my bad. That's what I meant. Which is even more weird. But I'm just saying, 'cause it's a generation. But the whole thing, but my point is though, like, we talked about George R. R. Martin wanting that bittersweet ending, and that might be it, where it's like, or a part of it.
To save the world, they have to get into an incestuous relationship.
But I don't know. But do you think if he finds out, they'd still go with it?
I don't know. I feel like that's something he's not that kind of dude. He's not that type of guy.
I mean, he still likes, what's his name? I'm sure, like...
The Wildling?
Yeah. I feel like he still was, like, he doesn't mention it or anything. Egret, yeah. I feel like, but they still...
But he kind of promised himself to her.
Yeah, and that's the kind of person he is.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I mean, it's just this weird... I don't think it matters. I don't think that matters. It's not important to me. Like, to me, it's irrelevant. If they get married, fine. If they don't, whatever.
For the record, Daniel's into that kind of shit.
What?
He's into... interfamilial relationships.
I don't even know what that means. You better not say that, because that's like people can twist that and they're going to be like, oh, okay. No, that's not true.
So what do you think of the battle? I liked how it basically, you know, Theon shows up. John has a reaction I was expecting.
That I liked. I liked that John didn't pussy out and was like, if you didn't save my sister, I'd kill you right now.
Right.
Now, I didn't like how no one else reacted to it, though.
Well, he said it quiet, too. He said it like, he pulled him close to him and he said it like, he didn't yell it at him.
I think
it
the
was just
reveal
between
is
them.
Danny wasn't there yet. Danny was gone at that point too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when I first saw it, I didn't know.
No, I had no idea.
I thought she was there, and I'm like,
right.
oh, why isn't she reacting that he's holding him up like this?
Right. So she kind of took his counsel, but didn't. I mean, I feel like that's not really going against what everyone's saying though, because she wasn't burning down villages. She attacked an army.
Well, I didn't say that. I didn't say.
No, I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying they counseled her to wait and not attack, and she said, "Fuck that, I'm going to attack." But she didn't attack. She went to Highgarden instead of going to King's Landing.
She needed to take something back.
Right.
She needed to do something, and she flexed her muscles, and she's really flexed it well, I think. Because I mean, in reality, who the fuck's going to snitch?
Yeah.
Who made it out alive?
Right.
No one's fucking alive from that battle that we saw. And even the
Tarly.
What did I say? Tyrell. The Tarly.
Not sure. We didn't really...
I think he rode off to catch up with his troops, right? Or something like
Maybe.
that. Because he's not... I don't think... The son stayed. I don't know if he died. I don't remember.
I don't know if... We didn't see him die if he died.
But I know he was there, but I didn't see the dad. I think he left. But that's another thing. Where the fuck is he going to go? Like, the Tarly's going to hear, like... That's all their fucking food.
Yeah.
She took out their food supply, which I don't understand why it exploded so much. Because what is it? The alcohol? Like what made it blow up?
I watched the behind the scenes on that, and they were just trying to make it look like the fire was making to make it look like a stream of fire. That's why they put those charges.
Oh, so there was no.
I don't know if there's any explosives now.
So just very, very explosive food, I guess.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be food, from my impression, is like they were trying to resupply people. Well, I mean, the best part about the fight, in my opinion, obviously was the fucking dragon. Mm-hmm. You know, the CGI, they used it well. Everything was well. I liked, like I said earlier, how you got two main characters fighting each other. I liked how no one really won, but no one really lost, which is a really interesting dynamic because everyone had their hero moments. Danny had her hero moments where you could finally see her actually using the dragon.
Yeah.
Bronn had his fucking hero moment where he saved Jaime and fucking struck the dragon on the
the
shoulder.
whole thing was in Jaime's perspective. Like the entire scene is almost completely Jaime's perspective.
Almost until it shifts to Tyrion's, which is I love that dynamic because it shows that Tyrion still cares about his brother.
Absolutely.
Just like Jaime cared about him before because they have that same scene. Tyrion says like, I forget what he says, like run away or don't be an idiot. He says something like that under his breath.
He said, "Flee, you idiot."
Yeah, and then
he's like, "You idiot,
you fucking idiot," as he charges at him.
Yeah.
Just like when he was on Tyrion was on trial, and Jaime was like, "Just say you're guilty."
Yeah,
just say you're guilty, and he's like, "I want trial by combat," and he was like, "You're a fucking idiot," because it's the same dynamic. I love that. I did enjoy that because it's like how they've switched places,
right?
And in some weird way, what Jaime did was admirable. Like, that's why I can't really hate the guy.
Right.
His duty, regardless of whatever you want to feel about Cersei, it is his wife. Yeah. I know it's his sister, so it's weird, but it is his wife. It's someone that he had 3 kids with before, and he's trying to, like, protect his dynasty here.
Yeah.
The name and everything. Why wouldn't you want to kill the fucking queen when she's right there? Then you could be the queen slayer, too.
Right.
And then, that might come back into it, but I don't know, like, how Dany's going to handle Jaime being her prisoner. Like, you still think that they fucking swam away somehow. I don't see how that's possible.
I don't think Jaime's dead now.
I don't think either of them are dead.
No,
I think they've sealed their fate.
Oh, that they're captured.
And they're going to die.
Yeah. Well, Tyrion might also let them go.
I don't know. He tried to, but the difference is Jaime tried to kill her.
Right.
Right. Like, period. That's that. Like, you can't fix that.
Well, but he's doing it. That's what soldiers do.
What are you going to do? Banish him?
You don't kill with these kind of things. You don't. He's an asset. They're not going to kill the asset.
Sure. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, how is he going to be used as a pawn? How are you going to use him as a piece?
Maybe it's a surrender or he dies.
Because the last time that he was held captive,
and he got let go.
Yeah, by
Catelyn Stark. Yeah.
So
she released him she let him go. The guy's got luck. Maybe his luck ran out, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tyrion, because he released Tyrion. Tyrion owes him one. It might seal Tyrion's fate. Which I think people would be really fucking upset about.
I would be annoyed if Tyrion died in any way. Like, if Tyrion's one of the few characters that if they die, it's gonna, honestly, Dany could die next week. She can get mauled by White Walkers, and it would make the show.
When I was
cooler.
watching that scene and Bronn was lining up that arrow, I was like, Daniel will be so happy
if she died.
If Bronn kills Dany right now.
It would have been. I mean, could you imagine that if that's how it ended? If like she's driving in and she just takes a straight spear to the gut, and then you cut to black.
See, that's the crazy shit they need to do. Like that right there would fucking that would be worse than the Red Wedding.
It would blow.
It would be
the internet
shocking.
up.
Yeah,
the internet would explode, literally.
Yeah,
like it because if they did it, and she wouldn't even have to die necessarily. I mean, she would, but like just to put her in danger like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't like her at all. I've grown to like her less and less, and I really hope she does go crazy so she can die. Like in a weird way, like I hope she does repeat so she can definitely die. Or maybe she won't. I don't know. It's fucking really weird how everything's all like there's too many questions. There's still too many questions, and it's fucking really weird to say that.
Right.
I mean, well, what did you think of the battle?
I thought it was fucking awesome.
Where do you rank it? Do you think it's their best?
I don't know if it's better than Battle of the Bastards.
This one's during the day, though, at least.
It's not better than Hard Home. I'd put it number 3. I think it was great. Like it was great to see the dragons.
It was
like
a theatrical.
Yeah, like when Bronn's like, "Do you hear that?" I was like, "Oh shit, they're coming."
I thought it was gonna. I swear to God, I thought it was gonna end like right when they come over the hill. It was gonna cut to black. And then I mean that's what they did for when Stannis came.
Right.
When they opened the scene on that one episode and they just showed.
They also had a 10-episode season. This was only 7 episodes, so they can't really get away with that anymore.
You know, I want to talk about that for a second because I know we've been going long. I don't want to keep this going on much longer. But do you feel like HBO really needed to cut their episodes back? I mean, the amount of money they must be making from all the press and buzz this is generating had to have at least covered it back. Like, or do you feel like this is the showrunners saying, you know what? It's not about budget. It's really like this is really the amount of episodes we had left.
I think it's a material thing. I think they're done with it. They just want to go on to their next project. They're like, okay, we only have this much shit, because there's only so much stuff you can think of. It's going to be 8 years by the time this thing ends.
Because they don't have any source material.
No, exactly. And they had it for a while and now that's gone.
And so it must be really hard to like anticipate not what George R. R. Martin's going to do, but like what the universe would do.
Right.
The fans are going to respect it.
And is he still consulting them?
According to him, he said he's done doing all that stuff.
Okay.
He's just focusing solely on writing, which I don't understand. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
Writer's block, man. I mean, so I think they're probably worn out. They only have so much material left.
It's been 8 seasons.
Yeah, it's been 8 years.
But at the same time, though, there could have been fleshed out. There's still things that could have been fleshed out.
You know what? But what if part of that had to do with, okay, he's going to have his book done by then, and then he didn't?
So it was like, fuck, we got to come up with something now.
Exactly. And it's kind of like, you know what? We're already here.
Let's just end it.
We don't want to drag this out anymore, and let's just end it. I think that might be it more than anything. They've reached a certain point now where it's like, we just got to wrap this shit up. We only have so much material left. We only have so many. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if HBO is also like, you guys, every year the budget's going up, and right now we're at $100 million.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, so that could be a part of it as well.
But at the same time, though, it's like, I don't think that can be the sole reason.
I mean, I don't know what their finances are like, so I don't know with cord cutting.
Netflix is $20 billion in debt.
Is it? Well, there you fucking go. So...
Which is really interesting to me. But an article just came out about it. They're $20 billion in debt. And they just took another huge loan. That always blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I just canceled Netflix, but I know a lot of motherfuckers out there who haven't canceled it. And they're just throwing $10 every month around the world.
People are sharing fucking passwords and shit though. And
still got enough. You feel like
I don't know, man. Enough. Spotify doesn't seem to be making any money. It definitely doesn't make the artist money. So there might... those contracts, those union contracts might be fucking shit up too,
True. Or maybe they're just putting so much investment in their original content that it's all going to pay off eventually, so it doesn't matter. I don't know, but it's an interesting
I hope
approach.
it does, because if that goes away, that would suck.
Yeah, because you can't have Game of Thrones every week, for sure.
Right.
I mean, that's the only way you can talk. I just thought about this today, and it's really interesting, and I don't know. It's kind of scary in a weird way, but in TV in 10 years, mark my words here, in 10 years, you're going to be getting Game of Thrones like on a weekly basis. That's the only, an episode like this on a weekly basis. Because there's no way you can top an episode like last night unless you make that almost the whole you basically make a movie a week.
Right.
And have it be a TV show.
Yeah.
And that technology is getting there. Doing this episode fucking 10 years ago?
Oh, no.
Impossible.
Unheard of.
Not on TV? No. Now, it's obvious, yes, they're big enough where they can afford it, but at the same time, it's gotten cheap enough too.
Right.
Like, I don't even know how much this scene would have cost 10 years ago, but I can guarantee you it's not as much as it costs now.
No, definitely. So let's to put a button on this. Let's. What are your predictions for next week?
We're going to see some White Walkers.
Right.
That's for sure. I think we're going to start with the battle. I think they're going to flip it on its head. I don't think it's going to wait till the end. I think we're going to start with something exciting. Maybe a cold open, something, or like maybe not a big battle, but something cold open where like we're with people in Eastwatch.
Yeah.
And then some shit goes down, and then like we're like, and then we have to figure out what the hell's going on.
Right.
In terms of like John and Danny, like I don't know. I just want to see what happens with Jamie, and if Cersei gets word.
I think Littlefinger is going to be a big part of next episode. That's my prediction. He's going to be a big part of the next episode. We're going to see the Hound. He's going to be a part of that battle.
What about Arya?
Arya's like, I don't fucking know.
Now she's home. It's like, well, what's she going to do? She's going to get bored.
Yeah.
She's going to leave.
That maybe now she's going to make her way to King's Landing. You know. But I don't know. I don't even care about Arya.
John, do you think he'll stay in Dragonstone for the foreseeable future?
I think word's going to get to him, and he's going to say, "We have to go." You know,
who's keeping him in? Danny's men.
Well, they're not. You know, he can go whenever he wants to, allegedly.
Well, allegedly.
But there's a lot. See, that's the problem with this right now. Is there's so much shit going on. There's no way to put him into every episode. So it's like, what? You know, I'm grasping at straws here, but I think we're going to see the repercussions of the battle. You know, we're going to see exactly what's going to happen to Jamie.
You can't leave
what happens to Bronn. Maybe next week we don't see too much John. That's my prediction. Next week we don't see too much John. He's not going to be that big. He wasn't even that big a factor in this week's episode. You know, he had a couple scenes, but other than that,
he has to be in it.
Right, but I'm saying his storyline's not going to get advanced next week. It wasn't advanced this week. It's not going to get advanced next week. Next week's going to be. I'm
just curious.
Next week's is going to be a Danny episode, a Hound episode, and a Littlefinger episode. That's my Littlefinger's going to get some meat.
Cersei has to be a part of it.
Cersei's in the episode too.
Did they steal the gold, or they just blew up food?
There's the gold.
Oh, the gold. He said.
Yeah, the gold made it through the gates.
Through the gates. Yeah. So then Cersei and the bank have to be a part of it, and maybe Cersei does get word somehow. Maybe via like Bronn's head,
right,
or something.
Don't
like.
You dare fucking kill Bronn on me, dick.
I like Bronn. I liked him when I'm like, fuck, he's about to die.
Bronn didn't die. He's not gonna die. That's my biggest. Bronn is still alive by the end of next week's episode. Fucking write it down. Taking bets. Leave comments. Taking bets.
First scene is gonna be him with his head on a pike, and but no, I'm just saying, like, Cersei gets word somehow,
right?
And maybe. Now that she has the gold, all her debts are paid. Everything's paid.
She's going to go back into debt.
She's going to pay and buy those that golden army or whatever the fuck they mentioned in this episode to go and save him or something. I don't know, but maybe. Because we're going to have to see, like, okay, Jaime's caught again, and now depending on how Cersei reacts is a tell of, like, how much you actually really should care about the story anymore.
Right.
Because she might be indifferent. She might say, okay, well, fucking you should have been you should have been stupid.
Right.
Or she could do something really crazy.
And that'll be her complete character change.
What if she just...
If she's just like, whatever, he got caught, yeah.
I'm just saying, though, it could be that. And then if she dies, you don't care. Or she could do so. It could put her in a frenzy and she does something stupid.
Yeah.
And it leads to her downfall. Right. But I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, we'll see. So tell me about these concerts you went to, man. I know last week we ran out of time, so you couldn't talk about Metallica, but this weekend you went and saw Slayer at the Forum. I feel like you've had a pretty good couple weeks, both on Saturday nights, right? Was Slayer Friday or Saturday?
Saturday, and this Saturday, too. I'm going to another concert.
So look at that. So you did Metallica at the Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl.
Then you did Slayer at the Forum, two very big venues.
Which apparently... I don't know if if Slayer hasn't performed in a while or something, because Lamb of God was also there at the Slayer concert. But Randy mentioned how he had been trying to play they had never played the Forum before. And he mentioned that he had been trying for years. They've been trying for years to get in there. But the people who owned the Forum were Christians, and they looked at them as like antichrist music.
Right.
And so like even Metallica wanted to have, like, that's what he was saying. Like finally, like, I guess there's a new change in ownership and Slayer was on. But even Tom said the same thing. He was like, we've been trying to play here for like, so I don't know when the last time they played there or if they've ever played there, Slayer. I'm assuming they'd have to play the Forum.
I don't think they ever played there.
Well, all I know is they recorded it.
I remember
they taped the show.
Yeah, they do that all the time. When I was in high school, they put out a videotape where it was like live and then like them behind the scenes shit.
No, I'm just saying though, like, so
and they had
maybe
one Decade of Aggression. They recorded that.
Maybe if they didn't play at the Forum, they recorded it for that. But the reason why I say they recorded it is because they put on a show.
Yeah,
like they made sure that there was like their theatrical production was on point. A lot of pyro.
Well, they're LA kids, man. They grew up in LA. They became big in LA. I mean, I don't know much about the Forum's history other than that was like the Lakers' home during the 80s when they won all the championships.
A lot of bands. It's historic for music too.
Right.
It's like if you go to the Forum.
But since I moved down here, the Forum wasn't having concerts. I feel like recently, like the last 2 years, is when they started doing concerts again. So maybe it basically got shut down until someone else bought it, you know?
Because it's definitely, I mean, the last time I saw Metallica at the Forum in 2009, I think. And like I've seen show like System of a Down since then, whatever, but prior to that, the Forum wasn't on the list of things because when the Lakers left town, it was that was it. Like there was really nothing going on.
Yeah.
But I like the Forum like better than the Staples Center. Like it's it's a weird experience. But before, like Led Zeppelin played there, like everyone's played at the Forum.
Yeah.
Like you go there, you can see the murals on the walls of like all the artists that have played there.
Yeah.
I think there's a section in the back where like everyone signed the wall of something. I think there's something like that. But anyway, they've been in the game for 30 years, Metallica and Slayer, and Slayer is an example of a band that never changed their tune.
Yeah.
Really. Like they've kind of just kept the same thing, and then I feel like Metallica's aged and like matured.
Yeah.
But they still fucking bring it. I mean, literally, like, I don't know how to, I can't talk about the Rose Bowl experience because I was in a crowd of like however many fucking thousands of people were there. I mean, it's the Rose Bowl. So I only experienced what it was like to be in the first 3 rows. Like, so I don't know what it was like watching down like the people. But I mean, it got fucking crazy at Slayer, and it was not even nowhere near as crowded as I mean, it was sold out. It was a sold out show. I don't know. They still bring it. I mean, it's just a fucking interesting. It's also interesting the ticket prices are different too. Yeah. Like Slayer's big enough to sell out the Forum.
They're not Metallica
but
big.
They can't sell out the Rose Bowl.
No, definitely not.
And not charge $200 for a ticket.
No way. I wouldn't pay $200 to see Slayer.
But it was
Slayer was my very first concert, by the way. We'll go back to that.
It was still a $60 show, which I think was worth it. 100% worth it.
See, even $60 might be too much for me now to watch Slayer.
Well, Slayer, Lamb of God, I think that was a good co-headlining show. Slayer played for 90 minutes and Lamb of God played for like an hour and 10.
I'm just going by the cost, like inflation, because back in my day, to see a metal band, it was never more than $20. Yeah, 15 to 20
Even
bucks.
when I was growing up, that's how it was.
So to pay $60 to see metal bands at a non-festival type thing, whew, that might be tough to justify.
I mean, I agree with you. I just spent $40 for the concert this Saturday, the Summer Slaughter tour, and that's I don't know however many bands, 8 bands. It's a festival. It's a traveling festival, but I mean. That was only $40,
right?
With parking too, I don't even have to worry about parking. It's just all inclusive.
That's dope.
But I mean, not everyone, none of the bands are fucking Slayer though.
Yeah.
None of the bands are Metallica. Like those dictate the prices.
So let me ask you about Slayer then. At any point did you think, wow, these guys are 50 years old? Like, did that ever dawn on you while they were 100%. Up there?
You just look at Tom. Tom looks like he's been homeless for the last like 30 years. Like,
he's not dyeing his hair. Just
his beard is all grayed out. Yeah. I mean, Kerry looks the fucking same.
Right.
Kerry King looks the same. He's the same like sausage head guy that's just beefed out, like fucking riffing and just playing headbanging the whole fucking time. Like he never stops headbanging.
Right.
He's I was watching him for like maybe 2 or 3 songs, just watching him straight. He doesn't keep up with like any of the rhythms or anything going on. Like he just headbangs on his own. Like he's not using it as a rhythm thing.
Right.
And then I started thinking to myself, I wonder if you get, because you know, like football players, obviously the whole
like if you get concussions from banging your
for
head.
Headbanging, yeah. Or like neck problems or something like, because I mean, you're constantly moving your head.
I think neck problems. I feel like I heard Tom has had neck surgery
because I feel like
because of his headbanging. Maybe Carrie's just a freak and he's lucky, but it's
or he just works his neck out like
or
a
maybe
lot.
he works his neck out too. I mean, the one thing about Slayer was like stage presence wise, they've never been like super crazy. Like they've never done like jumps.
It felt like a punk show,
right?
Which is a good thing because they still maintain that like 100% no bullshit. If I was blind, like not blind, but if I had a goggles on or something, obviously I know how old Slayer is. But if you just blind like listen tested them, you could say they're 20 years old,
right?
I mean, I was surprised.
That's how much aggression they were still putting.
Yes, and I'm surprised at how Tom is still able to hit some of the notes. He doesn't sound the same 100%, but he doesn't sound that far off,
right?
Like you would think that.
Well, he'll never hit that Angel of Death note again.
Of course not. But at the same time, though, you would think with his vocal style, which is more, it's like it's not a scream, but it's like a yell. Like he yells.
Yeah, he's a shouter.
Yeah, like it's not like screaming. It's just a yell. You would think by now his voice would be shitty, more raspy. Maybe how he talks normally.
I
but
think.
I'm just saying.
You know what? I think no. The style actually helps him because he doesn't put as much strain on his throat as other metal singers do. Like Phil from Pantera.
He sounds like shit.
He's completely shredded up because of like like he uses grit, but Slayer never uses grit in their vocals.
It's kind of they still have like that.
It's kind of punk rock. Yeah, it's like a punk rock shout.
And they definitely have. I mean, they're basically a punk band that plays really fast almost the whole time.
That's called thrash.
I know what thrash metal is, but like, I'm just saying, you can't really say Slayer's thrash is the same as Metallica's thrash.
I don't really consider Metallica thrash, like even their earlier stuff. Like maybe
see, there you go.
Kill 'Em All was I feel like Kill 'Em All is the only thrash.
So what would you describe their metal as?
Metal.
That's it?
They're just a metal band. They're Metallica. They had their own sound. I can't take that away from them.
They do have their own sound.
Yeah, I fuck their new shit, but up until And Justice for All, those 3 albums, Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, and Justice for All,
Death Magnetic, I add to that list.
Get the fuck out of my house.
You haven't even listened to it
right now. I don't need to listen to it.
You haven't listened to it.
Jesus Christ. Death Magnetic and fucking Indiana Jones 4, bro. You're fucking. I hate you.
You've never listened to it.
I hate you. Well, I watched Indiana Jones 4.
Okay,
that shit was trash.
I didn't say Saint Anger. I said
don't need to listen to Death Magnetic.
It's good. It's good.
I'm not. They died. Metallica died with And Justice for All. After that album, done.
Yeah, well, that's when they got popular.
Deed.
I read an article. I think it was published last month about it was just whenever Metallica sold 1 million records. The Black Album is still selling like 5,000 copies a week.
Enter Sandman is a popular fucking song.
I mean, think about that. Jay-Z with this whole, I'm going to sell 1 million albums overnight, blah, 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 with this title bullshit, right?
Talking to you, Prodigy.
Yeah, 100%. But then you have Metallica coming out here. It took them a few months to get to 1 million albums, but I'm sure they fucking sold those 1 million albums. But Jay-Z's not selling no records 5,000 a week. Not even his best album could even fucking look at the Black Album, and like the Black Album would just go away. Like,
well, that's the thing about hip hop too. It's like when you put a new album out, everybody forgets about your old album.
I'm saying like I don't know how much. I'm gonna look it up. How much do you think the Chronic sold? What would you say? Would you say 2001 or like which Dr. Dre album would you say?
The Chronic is his biggest one.
Okay, would you say it's probably sold more than the Black Album?
No, absolutely not. No.
Well, you would have to think that album's still selling right now, right?
I don't think anybody's buying the Chronic.
You don't think so?
No.
So what would you guess? I'm looking right now.
Like overall, what the Chronic has sold?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 15 million.
Okay, so then we're definitely. Oh no. Well, first of all, it's as of 2015, which is obviously a little outdated now, but that's what Wikipedia has. It was 5.7 million. And but that's his second best-selling album. 2001 is his best-selling album, and that one is at, let's see, 7.8 as of 2015. So then nowhere near close to fucking Black Album.
Right.
Black Album has what? How much do you think Black Album?
At this point, I'm gonna go 25.
I think it might be more. Let's see. 2016, it was 16.4 million.
So we're both off.
Yep. It became the first album in the SoundScan era to pass 16 million sales. So then we don't even need to look up any other albums because that means there's no other album that sold more than the Black Album. I had an edible before the show, thinking, oh, it's going to make me last the whole thing or whatever. And it didn't really, it kind of did, but it didn't really. So I'm like, oh, for Slayer, I'll have a little bit more. Just not a lot, but just a half a dose more. And I saw God. I mean, I didn't see God, but I was looking at the people I was watching, because during Slayer, they opened up the pit pretty fucking big. I was like, man, all these people are like humans. There's we're all coming together in this very awesome communal experience. There's nothing like going to a metal show. Genuinely, we're all a bunch of fucked up people, or maybe we're not, but I feel like if you listen to metal, you have a different experience, a different outlook of the world.
Right.
Because you're willing to accept something that's harsh, maybe not produced well or whatever, just something that's not, just something raw about it. But you have all the metalheads going there and all these fucking of different ages. I mean, you have, and then I texted you about, or we talked on the phone briefly about the fucking smell. People fucking stink. They don't shower. And not even just guys. You get that raw, stenchy coochie smell.
They just
that
didn't
fish.
care.
It's just, and then they're blowing the AC because it gets hot and they're doing pyro and all this shit. So that smell is just going everywhere. But anyway, I was looking at these people and it's a pretty communal experience. You think of all the bad shit in the world, all the stuff that goes on, all the negative, real hardcore stuff. And you can just bring everybody from all different walks of life. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, whatever you are. You could throw them in a metal show. You can put them in the mosh pit and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Someone falls, they're picking them back. It's just weird. There's just weird. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this stuff. And then I'm like, oh, well, listening to Slayer.
While you're on your edible.
Yeah. And I'm just then it got depressing because then it's fuck, we're all going to die and it's all worth none of this. I mean, that's what Slayer is talking about, how it's all this is all stupid. It's, God isn't real and all this shit, blah, blah, blah. Right.
So that reminds me. So let's take this back a few years ago. So in San Francisco, we went to the Maritime Hall, which was I think
I've been by there.
I don't even know if it exists anymore. I know they don't do shows there anymore though. But it was basically a Navy building, a vets hall, but it was a big building, and they were rented out for concerts. And there was always metal concerts, hip hop concerts, punk concerts there. And this tour was Cold Chamber was actually the headliner. It was Cold Chamber and Slipknot was main support, but the people were there for Slipknot. It was a Slipknot fucking show. So on the way to the show, my buddy Chris had some fucking mushrooms, and he's like, "Hey, hands me the bag," and I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So I took a half a bag of mushrooms, which is I mean, to be honest with you, I've never did them enough to tell you if that was a lot or not, but I'm gonna assume that was a pretty good amount. And when I got there, I was feeling great. I was like, "Whoa," I was running into the mosh pit, just being an idiot. I think I was 19.
And this is before Slipknot went on?
Before Slipknot went on. And then by the time Slipknot came around,
it really kicked in.
It was 99, 2000. Then all of a sudden, it really kicked in. And I got I kind of lost my energy. So I went up, they had a little area in the back where you could stand up. It was kind of a balcony where you could sit. I went up there, sat in the balcony, watched the show, and fuck, man. All of a sudden, it looked like Slipknot had this this curtain or this veil of water over the stage. So it just looked like you could see through it, but it would do these
some Star Wars shit.
It would do this weird wavy stuff going on in front of it. I was like, what the fuck? And I'm thinking, how the fuck did they pull that off? Not realizing, wait a second.
Just tripping balls.
And then it kind of hit me. I was like, oh shit. And then I started sweating and then the music just got really fucking dark and depressing, and I started.
That's what
that's what reminded me of this, because then I started feeling like, man, I need to get my life together. Like, what am I doing here? This shit sucks, man. I don't know. Like, I started getting really depressed, because then you see their fucking the masks that they're wearing, and there's like crazy shit they're doing. The clown guy used to fake jerking off in his fucking in his coveralls. It fucked me up. Like, it was like bad. We're to the point where I stopped watching. I just had to put my head down. And then when they finished, like, it wore off. Like, I was done. Then Cold Chamber came out, and I was back in the pit like nothing happened.
No, it was bad. I mean, because I think I took my edible. I didn't take it when I got there. I took it when Behemoth started, because I knew Behemoth was going to start at 7, and then it was going to be Lamb of God was going to start at 8 sharp. And so I was like, cool, because they leaked the set times. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it'll be an hour or so. And I think it kicked in midway of Lamb of God,
right?
Like very low. The problem with me has always been is like, I can't say, okay, I have an edible, even if it's the same fucking edible. I can be like, all right, it's gonna be on in an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely don't think it kicked in until like Slayer was already like.
Slayer triggered you.
But the problem was, and I think I fucked myself, is I had this guy with me. And so like, I thought like, oh, the edible's I didn't take enough. And so I fucking hit this vape like 2 or 3 times. And I think that reacted with, I don't know. But all I know is, like, I too was like, man, what am I? Like, I was having these thoughts. Like, I couldn't stop. Like, kept trying to tell myself, I'm in a Slayer concert. Enjoy it. Like, these guys are going to be dead, and that's what triggered me.
Wow.
That's what flipped me over, because I was like thinking of all this like crazy shit about like all this thing about life and how like the song's bad or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to like, stop. Why are you being negative? Like, just focus on this. And then I was like, that's what I told myself. Like, they're going to be dead in however many.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, dead. You're going to be dead too.
Right.
You're not going to exist either. That's the worst.
You got into this existential crisis at a concert.
It was hugely existential, because like, I just looked at the songs and I'm like, fuck, they played that many songs? Like, I don't even remember like from songs like 7 to whatever, because that's when I was at and they recorded this concert
right.
too. So now I get to rewatch it and relive it. But it was just like, fuck, I don't know if I ever want to see Slayer again. Was this the music?
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was bad, because
I'm with you, man.
It was just another fucking, but at the same time, like, now I'm like, oh, it's cool and funny to talk about. But at the same time, there's still lingering like feelings from that where I'm like, yeah, but you're still going to die.
I am absolutely fucking with you, man.
And it's just, it was an intense fuck. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it again.
I don't know if it was worth, because like I told you before the podcast, people have said, oh, I'm going to do this trip. I'm going to do this acid trip. I'm going to do this whatever trip. And then like, even if it's bad, it might be so intense that you kind of take away and you say, oh, I'm appreciative of life and this and that.
I'm going to go with that. People that say that are full of shit or just fucking off their rocker. Let me tell you, when it comes to psychedelics and things of that nature, you want to be in a controlled environment, a controlled and relaxed environment, because that shit is so intense that any little thing could set you off. I mean,
I don't even know if it was the music.
I probably shouldn't be talking about this stuff, but I remember one time I did acid at a rave, and I did way too much, and I was doing okay, and then this dude that I lived with for a while, when I got into it with my parents, and I was like, fuck you guys, I'm leaving, kind of deal. I stayed with them for like 2-3 weeks, almost a month actually. And this guy, like, I don't know what happened, but we ended up having some sort of stupid beef, and he saw me and he comes up to me while I'm tripping balls. And he wasn't even aggressive. He was like, hey man, what's all this shit you're talking about me? And I didn't even remember what and I was like, what? And I was like, dude. I just kept saying dude, like trying to tell him like, not right now, kick back. And he's like, what do you mean, dude? And then someone else said, oh, dude, they're frying balls. And then he stopped and he was like, oh, dude, my bad. Oh, it's all good. That little thing right there kind of fucked up my trip for the rest of the time,
I don't know, because what the problem is, you can't turn your mind off.
No.
And that's the thing. Like, that's what you want to happen.
No, you can't eat to sober yourself up either. That's the other thing. It's not like alcohol where like, you eat a good meal and you start drinking water.
And you can also just calm down.
Yeah.
Even if you're drunk, you can sit down you might puke, but like there's never a feeling of like, oh, I'm not going to exist anymore.
Right.
Like you're not thinking about existential shit.
You're not getting to that level.
And it's fucking weird because I read this quote and I've been kind of living by it lately where I forgot who the fuck said it. I don't know what it was, but it was basically the way you like interpret the like. I forgot how it went, but basically it was saying if you're in a good mood, you reimagine the world differently.
Right.
Like if you're in a bad mood, it's the same. The world's the same. The world doesn't change.
You just your interpretation changes.
But you can literally change the world by by the mood you are in.
Right.
And it's a weird fucking concept to think about. But like, yeah, if you're in a good mood, then everything's positive. You know, you think you can do X, Y, and Z, and maybe you can. But there, you know, how do you know what's right or wrong? Because like, if you're negative, you're gonna look at things just as negative. I know it's a weird little thing, but I've been trying to like, okay, well, if I just be positive, it's better to be happy.
Well, there's something to that, man. You definitely you got to put those positive vibes out there.
Well, that's kind of what got me into it. Like, got me out of it because I've been so negative just in life in general.
Right.
Like just with dismissing like religion and all this shit, like things that are my fundamental like about me growing up. You know, it's very easy to go like dark and then go even darker because you're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But like what kind of got me out of it is like in some fucking weird way, even though like the idea of like religion or like Catholicism and all this shit is like very like just doesn't add up and just something's wrong about it, whatever.
Jesus saved you anyways.
But at the same time, it's weird you say that, but at the same time, I still believe without a shadow of a doubt that somehow, some way, I'm going to interact with like my family members or people who've died in the past. Like some way, like I don't know how to explain it, but I believe that. And that's what I thought about. I'm like, well, you can't be this negative. Because then I started thinking about like how, yeah, I might be insignificant, but then all of a sudden.
By the way, children, this is why you don't do.
But at the same time, but I mean, it's true. It's valid. Like I really think, I mean, that's how philosophers, I feel like they started philosophizing, you know, like Plato. And shit like that, and they probably were on some psychedelic shit that really expanded their mind to think about that. Because I started thinking like, you know, this isn't saying God's real, but at the same time, we can go have a salad, and it like nourishes us. Like the concept of everything starting from nothing, and we've evolved from nothing to like the point where like we can be humans and interact and talk on a podcast, and like I'm not saying that's God's will, but at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain coincidence to that degree,
right?
Where things fit in that well. I mean,
everything's interlocking and has some sort of connection.
Everything in a weird, like an Avatar way.
Yeah,
like in a very weird Avatar way. And it's not me being hippie or anything, but it's just
it is kind of hippie.
It is kind of hippie, but at the same time, science can explain how the things happen, but they don't explain why it's interchanged. Like why it's so like why you need a female to have a baby.
No. I had a professor at USC who it was a Native Americans ethnic studies class, I think it was. No, I don't remember what exactly. It was a Native American class, though, and the guy was this white dude from Alaska that grew up like with all the.
Was he Inuit or whatever?
No, he wasn't, but he grew up with his name. His name was Took Thompson. So his name was an Inuit name, but he wasn't Inuit, and he grew up with all these like Inuit Eskimos, so on and so forth up there. So he told us like he's like, you know what, that he said that science is, you know, we like to say facts.
Right.
And he says that's not what science is. Science is like, is the testing of a theory over and over and over again and getting a certain amount of like correct answers out of it to the point where you accept it as truth. But it's not necessarily real.
Absolute.
It's not real. It's not absolute. So the things that the Native American tribes believed in, you can't say it's wrong because of science. Because it's not, you know, at the end of the day, nobody knows what the truth really is.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to like. Just walking to my car this morning, I'm thinking about like the trees, the fact that there's trees and whatever. Like just a lot of things that you can explain why they exist.
What brand did you take here? How many milligrams was this? It's fucking 4 days later or 3 days.
No,
You're still.
But this is the outcome of this is marijuana on me. Period. I'm not even high right now. I wasn't high this morning either. I'm just saying that like. it changes my perspective on things where you can, instead of being so caught up in the mundaneness of life where it's like, oh, I got to wake up this morning to go to the podcast. Okay, I'm going to go shit. I'm going to go sit in the parking lot, waiting for traffic to get to your house, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can just focus on that shit, but that's also you distorting your world.
Yeah.
Like what I was saying
mentality
earlier.
and perspective will change everything for you, for sure.
And it's just, it's more interesting to me to think of like, Earth is big as fuck, and like we imagine driving from here to LA or wherever, here to San Pedro or wherever the fuck is like a big distance, or here to fucking San Francisco.
It's
like
tiny. It's just
it's nothing.
minute,
like you can't even look at this, like the size. Like it doesn't make any sense. You can't even comprehend that. And then to imagine fucking however many universes and galaxies and whatever other bullshit are out there.
See, I don't like to do that because then I really feel small.
Well, but see, I say all that to say, that unknown is more positive to me than negative.
Right.
Because it starts to make you think, we don't know shit.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's not real.
Right.
That's the thing where it's like, who knows? Maybe when you die, there's no heaven, but maybe you fucking, your essence does go somewhere else. And it's just something, like, who the fuck knows? I'm just saying, like, it really is a weird thing.
Dead people, they know.
Or not. I don't know.
Well, there's the energy factor too. We all have energy inside of us. We have like electricity.
Sure, and even
that electricity has to go somewhere. It doesn't just disappear.
You can't create or destroy energy in the universe. I don't know what law that is, but that's it. Like the amount of energy that exists here has existed forever. It's just it gets
right. It just goes into different channels.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But which is it's just an interesting thought in general. I'm just saying that it's just a weird thing about how we can study the brain all we want. We could study, why you get angry and you have these impulses firing here and this like
you're never going
to
figure it out though.
You can't figure out why that we're aware.
No.
Like how does that explain how like I'm me and you're you?
Consciousness. Yeah, there's no explaining it.
So it's a weird thing.
Absolutely.
And that's a real thing. I mean, regardless if we respect animals or not, they kind of have it too.
Yeah.
We just don't look at them in our way.
Right.
But if they fucking
because
spoke
they
English,
don't communicate with us. That's exactly.
That's the thing. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So whatever applies to us should apply to them too. Right. And I still like chicken. Chicken tastes good. I've stopped eating pork though. I can't. Ever since they released that bacon study, it kind of.
What bacon study?
That it causes cancer.
Oh my God.
No, but it's more than just that.
Look. Let me tell you something. I have not read this bacon study. This has to do with sodium nitrate. That shit's been out for over 30 years now.
Sure, but that's not my main thing, though.
Then they've linked cancer to sodium nitrate, and there's nitrate-free bacon out there. But why you're anti-pork?
I'm just saying, like, I like bacon. Don't get me wrong. I love bacon. But for whatever reason, in the last few years, I've eaten less and less of it. And just, I don't know, just seeing pigs.
See, I thought it was because you're a cheap fuck and bacon prices have been going higher and higher.
No, because I'll eat turkey bacon. It has nothing to do with that. Yeah, exactly. That's how much I like bacon.
Turkey bacon is not expensive.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying, though, like, that's how much I like bacon.
It's gross.
Whatever. It depends on how you make it.
It doesn't taste anything like bacon.
It's enough.
It's nasty.
Whatever. It tastes fine on a burger. Like, you can't taste.
You're disgusting.
So
go ahead.
It's pigs. It's seeing the pigs. Like, seeing.
So you feel bad for the pigs?
I feel bad for the pigs. Because I feel like, and it's fucked up for me to say, but unlike a chicken, I feel like pigs have intelligence. And it's proven that they are fucking not stupid.
Right.
So
they're smarter than dogs.
Right. And it's not like a cow, which cows also have intelligence levels, but it's not the same. Pigs are smarter than dogs, and that's the biggest thing that, like you just said, the pig that fat. The reason why I repeated it is because we would never eat a dog, ever. Maybe a dolphin.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that.
Sure, but pigs can be pets too.
No, but dogs have been domesticated to be pets for over 1,000 years, if not longer than that.
Yeah, but that's the argument. That's a bad argument in my opinion.
That's not a bad argument because that's something that we have fucking. I don't know. I don't even want to fucking look at this to see how long dogs have been domesticated. Dogs used to be wolves, and fucking they've been domesticated to be pets for at least 1,000 years, if not longer. Okay. So we have that much I
understand that, but there's no reason why you can't do that again with
But nobody's ever done that with a pig. So I don't like intelligence levels. I don't give a shit. My thing is if they're cute, I won't eat them. So I don't eat rabbits.
Piglets are cute.
I won't eat rabbits.
Piglets are cute. Now, state fair
their
pigs,
snouts are disgusting. All right?
State fair pigs are not that cute.
The pig nose is not cute. I don't even date girls that have a nose that's slightly turned up. All right.
I'm just saying though, they've done tricks and stuff. Like, I don't know.
You know, and maybe if you had like some personal interaction with a pig, I'd be like, okay. But even then, I wouldn't accept it. But the fact that you have not had any contact with a pig, you're just going by like a video you watched or something. You know, I don't know,
15,000 years, according to this, that dogs have been domesticated.
Yeah, that's an integral part of like human.
Okay,
and they still eat them. And fucking, they eat them. They raised specific dogs to eat in Korea.
I wait for the day that humans they reach the point of technology where they could just produce food and it'll taste just like bacon.
Mm-hmm. That's where I start believing in God. Like when you start playing God, shit goes wrong. Shit gets fucked up.
How is it playing God?
You're like,
see, you can't have it both ways.
What are you talking about?
Like not you, but like having that belief of like playing God. Like, no, there should be no ethics involved.
No, I absolutely believe when it comes to nature, there's some things that you should not try to copy.
But isn't it just natural of us doing things? If we created the atomic bomb, right?
And that was an accident.
Sure, but we made it.
We made it, and now it was an accident. Nobody knew you could split an atom.
And now we know, though. Now we know we can weaponize things.
And it's those scientists that made that realized that was the biggest mistake they'd ever done in their life, and they wish they had nothing to do with it.
Sure.
Because there's stuff like
it's natural that it came about.
Like your boy Rogan. He was talking with Eddie Bravo about someone is developing a program that mimicks people's voices.
Oh, that's true.
So they can make videos and audio. Like what good comes from that?
Well, I don't know what they made a good point on it. And
yeah, well, the good thing, like you can get dead people. Like
for VR virtual experiences, but it has nothing to do with that. Because I agree with Joe Rogan on this. What his argument is it's not about thinking about how they're going to use it. It's just about getting to the technology to the point where you can do it regardless.
It's experimenting too much, where people are trying to do too much. It serves no purpose to the greater good. It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose in the immediate good either. Like,
what if I'm just saying? Just go with me for a second. Let's go with the voice thing. Let's say because they talked about bringing back like Albert Einstein or something, and you can listen to him talk. Maybe you won't want to fucking read Albert Einstein, but you can listen to him talk if they program it the right way. Maybe it triggers you to investigate.
Or you could give someone else a fucking job and have them pretend to be Albert Einstein.
Sure, but I'm just saying there's nothing like being at home on YouTube and you can have a VR experience at home. I'm just saying, and it might trigger someone. And what if that person discovers something because of that? Maybe not related to science, but maybe he cures a disease or some shit.
That's a lot of maybe.
But there's too. See, here's the thing: there's too many people where you can't disregard it. That's the thing. What I was talking about earlier about how driving from here to San Francisco is a long way, but how many fucking people are in that drive?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of people in California. 30 million is a lot of people in Los Angeles. So then you just think about what that would do for 7 billion or more, because by the time that technology comes out, maybe less, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, that's a lot of people, and it just makes everything easier. Now, there's obviously negatives to everything, because you could easily, like, for example, I thought about Joe Rogan as he was talking about it. He has 1,000 episodes. You could you could just run his episode, just edit him talking, run it through this program, and you can have him say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you want at any point. And how are you going to be able to disregard? Like, how are you going to be able to tell?
And you could get people into trouble with that shit.
And no, I'm not saying it's, but at the same time, the internet was a military device, like a military tool.
Right.
And it's probably the best thing that's ever happened in the universe.
Is it?
It is.
I don't know if it's the best thing. I mean, we're using it.
I think it's the best
all
thing.
The fucking time. The internet has kept people at home, not interacting with people.
I don't agree with that.
It absolutely has. People do less stuff. People don't go to the movies anymore. It's killing the movie industry. People don't go to concerts anymore. You know, they'll go to one band. It takes bands that have been around 30 years to sell out places now. People don't, the live music venues.
I don't agree with that.
The Roxy. Well, this is a fact. The Roxy, the Whiskey, they're barely surviving now because people don't feel like leaving their house to do shit.
No, that's not true.
That is true. Oh my, look it up, dude. Live music is fucking dying. This is a fact.
There's so many.
This is me talking to you as someone that was in a fucking band for many years. People do not go out and go to fucking shows anymore because they don't leave their house.
Smaller
because they have
venues
way
are
more.
dying.
They have way more fucking options. Exactly, and they only go. It's just like films. We've already had this discussion about movies. People don't watch fucking mid-major fucking movies in the theater. People don't watch small movies in the theater anymore.
Yeah, because all those movies are on Netflix now. It's fucking true.
Exactly. So you're proving my fucking point.
No.
People are not leaving their house because they have too many options. Why do I have to go out when I can get it all at home at the touch of a button?
Mean that
it's called convenience. Stores are fucking failing because of Amazon, because of eBay. It does. If stores are closing down, if venues are closing down, if movies aren't fucking being made, changing. Oh my God.
Look, Blockbuster, okay? We used to go to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video.
And Blockbuster's gone. Why?
Okay, hold on. Just listen.
Because people didn't want to leave their house to go to the fucking store.
No.
Then why?
They don't give a fuck about going to Blockbuster. They don't give a fuck about Blockbuster's bottom line. They don't care. They just want to watch a movie. And if that means Netflix can deliver it to your home, I'm not talking about streaming it, but just straight up delivering to your home, why the fuck not? Why would I have to drive? I'm still getting my movie because I don't own Blockbuster. I have no stake in Blockbuster. I don't give a fuck.
You're talking about something completely different. No, this goes right straight back to exactly this is my point. My fucking point is the communal experience of going. Why don't people go to people don't go to the movies like they used to at all? Tell me, is that true? True or not? Do you agree or not? Disagree?
On what the movie is.
They only go for the big spectacle.
Can you name me fucking 10 mid-major movies that you're talking about?
I can't because they don't fucking exist anymore.
So how are they going to go watch them at the movie theater if
they're not making them because people aren't going to the movies to see them? People are losing money making these things. Okay, so they don't exist.
Just the business changing.
No, The Godfather would not be a fucking hit movie right now.
But that's
people would not go and watch The Godfather.
But that's so. First of all, technology as it gets older, it becomes more ingrained in society. So yeah, there was no other options at the time. That was a market control thing. There was no internet in the age of The Godfather.
No, but the internet. So what you're failing to realize is ignorance is bliss. If I didn't know I had access to these things, I never would want to do it.
But you're just talking. But all it is. If you don't have the internet, you don't have the rise of YouTube. You don't have the accessibility of being able to connect people from different countries and to learn things. Like I've learned things on my guitar.
No, there's positives and negatives, but I don't.
I'm just saying that. You're talking about business. I don't fucking own
I'm not talking about business. See, that's where you're getting wrong. I don't give a fuck about the business point. I'm telling you right now, the interactions that people have with other people are fucking going away. But we're slowly turning to, we don't call people anymore.
Sure.
We text.
Sure, but that's still communication.
But it's not the same because people's first. Dude, you of all people should know. You were on Tinder for a while. You went on Tinder dates. How fucking different were people on the Tinder app than when you met them in person?
See, this is what I was going to explain to you.
They're completely fucking different.
Hold on. All right. I'm glad you brought up Tinder because I was going to bring it up too. Because I feel like Tinder is a byproduct of the internet, of course. You've always had dating services in some way, whether it's fucking prostitution or something. There was always a way in which I'm sure that maybe back in the day, you could probably even post a fucking newspaper ad if you were that desperate. Right? Mm-hmm. But you're not going to do that because you had like speed dating and these other like games that you can go to, right? With the intent of meeting people. Sure. I don't know, but these are things that I've fucking seen in movies.
I have no idea either.
But I'm just saying, like, these are the things that you've heard of on a movie, at least, right? So it had to have existed in some form somewhere on planet fucking Earth that there was a speed dating in the 70s or some shit. But you could just go to the fucking club and dance and disco, whatever the fuck you were doing, whatever age you're like, that was your way of picking up women, right? Or vice versa. That was your way of social interaction. You go to a bar, you go to watch a show, whatever. That's your point. That's what you're saying. I get it. I'm hearing it. I listened to it. I processed it. But the internet allows for connectivity on a whole different level because now we can actually connect within the fucking world. I mean, literally, whatever happens somewhere else, we know instantly because of social media, which is all the internet.
Well, it depends on.
But, hold on.
It depends on your perspective, though. Here's the thing. Yeah, you can connect with way more people. Whatever, but you can also choose to not be yourself and you can create a fake persona because of the internet, which is happening a lot.
What's the difference between that and someone just wearing a lot of makeup and they want
There's a big difference, man.
I'm going to be a punk and I'm just going to go to punk shows all the time and I really just fucking hate myself. But like when I go to a punk show, if I throw on that denim jacket or whatever,
they feel like they're a part of something.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's just done on a different level. It is because
I think that's learning something and becoming something, not being able to hide behind a screen.
Sure, I'm not saying
like
that. I'm not saying that there's
because of technology and the internet, like every generation that comes after this one, their attention spans get shorter and shorter.
And maybe this is the perfect mix that we're in right now. Like as it continues to go on, it'll get worse. But like maybe there's a perfect overlay right now where you still have people going out enough to where it's not bad, or you can still stay home and it's acceptable because of the times. I don't know. Maybe this overlay period that we're in right now.
That's my fear with virtual reality, is that we get to a point where people could just fucking put, like that movie with Bruce Willis that I forget what it was called, but everybody had like a fucking android.
I didn't see it. I know what you're talking about though. I didn't see it.
Yeah, everyone stays at home in their pod and they just walk around town in this fucking this basically it's an avatar.
But not everyone can afford that. So that's how I know it's not going to happen.
Well, not yet. Everything's getting cheaper and cheaper.
Sure, but you're gonna have to be really like it's gonna be a while.
Well,
because
it's not even a while. Check it out, dude. In my bedroom, I have a 40-inch Sony HD. I bought it in 2008, $2,000. The specs on that TV, that TV that cost me $2,000, I can get for $400 now.
I know that. I'm not saying that, but that's still for some people. In order for it to get that bad, I feel like most of the people have to be able to afford it. People can afford a $400 TV now, but it's not the best.
No, it's not the best.
But I'm just saying, like.
But I'm telling you, that's how fast technology is moving.
But you have to look at
how
it
much
this.
is the most expensive TV, and what does it do that the other TVs don't do?
This is going to be a little. This might sound racist, but I don't mean it to be one. But when I see pictures of Africans in Africa, for whatever it might be, still photos, publicity photos, or whatever, the phones that the Africans have, the village Africans, not like South Africans or something, they're like flip phones.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is the same argument, in my opinion. The fact that they have a phone means that they have technology that they can be able to call somebody. You know, if they're getting attacked by a fucking alligator, they might be able to call someone or something. I don't know if they have service, but I'm just saying.
You don't know if there's alligators in that specific country.
Sure.
Either. Fucking racist.
But I'm saying, though, in an emergency, they have it. But can they send each other dick pics? Not yet. They haven't progressed to that point yet. Now, that's not to say in another 10, 15 years that not everyone's going to have smartphones, because we're going to have fucking other devices or something. So I'm just saying, like, we are still a little privileged here by saying this stuff.
No, we're absolutely privileged.
Like, even like I just bought a new TV last year or whatever, which would be, I don't even want to think about what it's going to be in 10 years, but my TV cost $1,200 and it was the top of the line at the time. There's already better TVs now, but I'm just saying, like, I agree with you, but we're still behind. I started thinking about this after college. You go to school and you meet a lot of people at school, whether you're in high school or whatever. You're always interacting with people, especially in college, you're interacting with people. And I always thought to myself, well, how am I going to meet new people?
Right.
Like, do I just stop meeting people? Is that it? Like, after I graduated, like, all the people I know now is who I'm going to know for the rest of my life. And so I started thinking, well, I'm on film sets. Okay, I can get, like, meeting other people, whatever.
Right.
But then when you do Tinder or any other thing, you meet those people, and they're more people for you know. They just happen to be girls. That's the other thing. That's the thing. Like, but I'm just saying, you probably would have never met this person in any other way, but because of a online dating app, you're able to meet these people that you might not have met anyway, because they are also people who aren't going to go out or whatever. So you can meet like-minded individuals, and maybe you guys can go out together.
Well, that's you saying that everybody is like, what's it called?
It's all about perspective, man. I'm in a positive mood. I guess it's from that edible trip.
I guess so. Well, we don't have that much time left, so I wanted to do a quick little a rant that Daniel's not going to 100% agree with, but fuck Daniel. This one goes out to all the DC fanboys / haters out there. We put a reaction video out to the Justice League trailer, and needless to say, it is not a popular video. We have 2 likes, 59 dislikes, and a lot of people on that commented mentioned that we haven't broke 1,000 views yet.
Actually, it's like the same guy who keeps telling us.
Oh, it's the same guy?
He keeps reminding us.
Okay.
Like, by the way, you faggots, because he keeps calling us that. That we haven't gotten 1,000 views yet.
So I guess what I wanted to talk about was like how someone in their right mind can defend what this universe has done so far. Other than the Wonder Woman movie, which technically doesn't really connect to the fucking universe at all. It doesn't advance the Justice League story. It's a one-off movie if we want to break it down. You know, it's an origin movie for one of the characters, but it has nothing to do with the rest of the universe, and it won't connect to the rest of the universe. So to even say, oh, well, Wonder Woman was...
I read an article that Flashpoint might interweave with Wonder Woman.
So they're going to bring back Steve Trevor?
I don't know, but that's what I read, is that like somehow Flashpoint is going to interweave with Wonder Woman, not the character, but the movie.
With World War I Wonder Woman?
Yeah, that's the article I read. Obviously, it's all alleged. You don't fucking know.
Right.
Like, maybe they realize that, yeah, maybe we should bring back Chris Pine or blah, blah, blah. You don't know. But I'm just saying that, like,
which would not surprise me, because let's see what they've already done. Man of Steel came out.
Trash.
And they had that fucking way too long fight sequence between Superman and Zod, where they destroyed the entire fucking city. And then at the end of the movie, everyone's like, oh, we love Superman. Let's build him a statue.
Yay.
Then people are like, wait a second.
This is fucking stupid.
Yeah, why would people be congratulating him? Why would people be on his side? Like, he killed so many people. The collateral damage from this fucking fight.
And how does Man of Steel 2 start? Or excuse me, Batman vs. Superman start?
It has Batman in the middle of the fucking collateral damage.
And then making that the whole purpose of the film.
And then I've heard other people trying to say, oh no, that's what was the case the entire time, which is fucking bullshit.
Prove it.
Yeah, because let me ask you something. Why would they build a guy a fucking statue and then try to get him convicted in fucking court?
Because of Batman all of a sudden?
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. That was a mistake. They realized, okay, maybe we fucked up with this way too long shitty action sequence, so let's come up with a solution.
And they fixed it as best as they could, which is still shitty. Suicide Squad, which I feel like I don't know. I can't prove this. I haven't seen the extended edition. That's fucking stupid. But I personally feel like the movie that was being made was not going to be the movie we all saw in the movie theaters.
Right.
100%. And I feel like because of the studio's tendencies to like listen to fans, and maybe this is a problem because we want studios to listen to us all the time, but maybe they listen to the wrong people or whatever. But they changed that trailer. I mean, they changed the movie after the reception of the trailer came out. It was like, oh, it's funny. It's not like Batman vs. Superman. It's not dark. It's blah, blah, blah. And they were on record saying that they like increased the jokes. They reworked the scenes, how like Joker was more of a part of something, like literally it's on, you can read all this shit. Again, listening to us. Same thing with, with this Justice League thing. All the comics, all the trailers have a little more comedy in them. A little more of this. Like the Batman vs. Superman trailers weren't funny. Man of Steel trailers weren't funny.
No.
Because that's not the universe that Zach was trying to set out to make.
No, it wasn't supposed to be. They were trying to be different from Marvel. And I feel like Marvel definitely has the humor thing down. That's a part of your movies. There's going to be jokes. There's going to be action. As of right now, the villains aren't going to be so great. None
of them really are.
Well, Loki was good. Vulture was good. I don't know how Vulture connects to in the long run. The TV universe itself is different. Kingpin is a great villain, but how is he going to connect into the cinematic universe? Though. Yeah, for the cinematic universe, they've only had two good villains. I'll give them that. But the stories themselves, they're not the strongest stories, but they're entertaining movies. Like, you get through the movie, you don't walk out like, I fucking hated this shit, except for Age of Ultron. That was the only one where I was like, wow, this fucking sucked.
And you only walk out mad if you had a button to pick, I feel like.
Right.
I feel like with Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, not Wonder Woman, but the other three I just mentioned, you definitely don't leave like, fuck, man, that was cool. That was good. Like you kind of feel mad, like disappointed, too long, whatever it might be. Like, there was a lot of things I still stand up for Batman vs. There's a lot of things that I enjoyed. 100% can't lie. Like, I liked when the whole fight at the end, when they're fighting, what's his name? Abomination or whatever the fuck his name is.
Abomination.
What's his name?
It's Doomsday.
Doomsday. When they're fighting Doomsday and Wonder Woman's there, like that whole dynamic with the music, like I liked that. I was into that moment. I liked when Jesse Eisenberg took Superman's mom.
Took Martha,
but I hated Martha. I hated that Martha scene. I thought that was dumb. I hated the intro, like all the part where like they have to put Superman on trial and all this fake shit. Like, you're gonna make a universe that's so real, but you're really gonna put Superman on trial,
right?
Really? Like, you're gonna why would Superman even let you do any of that? Like, it's stupid,
right?
Like, who the fuck is that dumb to feel like, oh, he has handcuffs on now, he's definitely in our control? Like, that doesn't make any sense unless they're fucking made a kryptonite. Like, there's no reason why that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. He could break out of any fucking jail in a heartbeat.
People get upset about people. You know who we're talking about. Get upset about Spider-Man's origin getting changed, but don't seem to have any issue. Well, I don't know if they don't have an issue or not, but Superman's character is fundamentally changed in this universe. Superman would never complain about the people. He'd never be a whiny bitch. Like, they don't like me. I guess I'm going to turn myself in because they don't like me. Superman would never do that.
Well, Superman sucks.
He does. I'm not a fan of Superman, but I'm saying his character always had faith in humanity. You know?
Well, that's his whole point. Isn't that what his symbol? They make it stands for hope or whatever. Like, exactly. That's the whole fucking point of his character.
But then in Batman vs Superman, he's like, "Fuck these people.
I'm gonna kill Batman.
They got my back." You know, like, yeah, that shit. Like, Batman never kills anyone, but in this one, he fucking kills people left and right. Like,
he's he's a different Batman.
Fucking hoses them down with the fucking machine guns.
He doesn't kill them. He just happens to shoot things that are like hanging that might kill them. Like, if they move, they won't die. But at the end of the day, if they weren't fucking with Batman, you know, I'm just saying. No, but I agree. I mean, some of these comments, let's see. I can read a few of them. Fucking idiots, ruined my time. You asked someone where their reaction video was because they were talking about how they know all this shit about reaction videos. So you're like, where's yours? And he said, my reaction video was at your mama's house when I was fucking her. LMAO, shut your bitch ass up. Captain, save a bitch, all late to reply to me. Let me guess, you the nigga that be slobbering on these fags' dicks, huh? You trying to help them get their views up too. Still under 1,000. LOL. STFU, bitch.
Yeah, that was after I replied. I think I just said one sentence about him throating his uncle. That was that. So I triggered him, you know.
But it's the same thing. It's like Zach Smith. I've watched several reactions to this trailer, and you guys are the first to say it's a horrible trailer. Either you're Marvel fans just riding the bandwagon, or you're not fans of superhero movies. It's one or the other. How? How is it one or the other?
I don't know.
Like, you can just what you have, Marvel?
And that's what it comes down to. Like, obviously, all of this is subjective as fuck. But I feel like you have something wrong with you or very poor taste if you enjoyed 3 of the 4 movies. If you enjoyed Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Suicide Squad. If you can legitimately tell me that those are like good movies,
I can give Man of Steel a pass to a degree. Because there was more human elements in Man of Steel than any of the other movies.
I mean, it was better than Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying it's good, but I can legitimately look you in the eyes and say Man of Steel is probably like a C-, C+, or a C- movie.
I could see you being a Superman fan and defending that movie because you like Superman. Until he snaps Zod's neck at the end. Because if you're a Superman fan, that right there would set you off. He doesn't kill people.
He makes sure you're not going to do anything bad, but like, he's not going to kill you to make sure you're not going to do anything bad.
He doesn't snap people's fucking necks in the middle of a fucking like public
But at the same time, you got to defend the actions of that Superman a little bit. He knew that Zod was not going to stop.
That's fine and dandy, but we're talking the people that complain and defend these movies are all comic book fans. They're all superhero. That's the one thing we all have in common with the people that are getting mad. They love DC so much that they're going to defend it to the fucking death, even if it's fucking trash, which so far it's been in. This is not me. This is Rotten Tomatoes. This is Metacritic. These are people out there.
And not like critic scores. We're talking about like
people going to watch the movie. Like I don't even. I
audience scores. Let's see, Man of Steel. I know we got to wrap it up, but Man of Steel, Rotten Tomatoes. Let's look what it is right now, just out of curiosity. Audience. What do you think it is?
Man of Steel?
Yeah.
I'm going to be nice and say it's 60.
Well, you'd be fucking wrong. It's a 75% audience score.
Oh, well.
55 critics. So we actually probably sit in line with the critics. What's the other one? Batman versus Superman.
70.
63%.
63%. So Man of Steel, the one that you defended, was
better,
higher. Dawn of Justice down to 63%, 27% critic score.
Right. Suicide Squad is 61% liked audience, and then tomato meter at 25. Now, I do have to admit, critics, I really do feel like critics are extra harsh on DC movies. However, this is what I felt like, but when Wonder Woman came out and you add in all the SJW bullshit, and then you add in the fact the movie's not a piece of shit, then, you know, you definitely get a more positive reception because the movie wasn't a piece of shit.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a turd.
Regardless if you don't like the, through and through or great movie or, maybe you don't think it's a Batman Begins type movie, but it was not a shitty fucking movie.
And I had a discussion about this on a page.
90%.
People are talking about how much money it's made. Is it going to break $1 billion? Whatever.
Wonder Woman?
Yeah, it's not there yet. It's at a little under 800 million worldwide. And why so many people came out, and that's like the big argument is, it made this much money. Obviously, it's fucking great. And I'm like, like I said, I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's a solid movie. Not the best superhero movie to ever come out. Not in my top 10 at all.
I low-key expect that's what Warner Brothers was expecting it to do. Like, I really think it hit their expectations. I don't think it exceeded their expectations. And the reason why I say that, my theory is, and I think we should just finish with this. My theory is, if you look at Deadpool,
yeah,
and you look at Logan, and the fact that they're rated R. Well, Deadpool. Let's just stick with Deadpool. That movie launched. It exceeded everyone's expectations.
Absolutely.
What were you hearing about? Oh, Dawn of Justice is going to have a rated R cut. Oh, it has nothing to do with that. Bullshit. All of a sudden, studios were allowing companies like, oh, it's R? We'll let you go. Logan, R? Go ahead, no problem. Mm-hmm. It's all because of Deadpool.
Right.
Because it was exceeded them so much they were willing to take more chances.
Yeah.
You look at Wonder Woman, name me fucking one movie other than Captain Marvel, which was already in development, that has a woman at the lead. Superhero-wise. Not one. You would think if the movie was so fucking big and it exceeded everyone's expectations that all these people would be like, fuck, people clearly want women in superhero roles leads. Let's fucking make some. Because we have a lot. There's a lot. There are a lot. And even just off the, Scarlett Johansson bombed on fucking Ghost in Shell, clearly proving she can't, lead a movie by herself.
Right.
But I mean, you could easily throw Hulk in there. I mean, Black Widow has been proven on the screen that she's a promiscuous woman.
Right.
And so you could easily have Tony Stark in there. You can easily have all these people. I mean, that's how she was introduced on the back of Tony Stark. But I'm just saying, though, you can't name me one because I feel like the industry is sexist as fuck, which I think yes, but no at the same time. I don't think it's a reason for them to lose money over it.
Right.
I think sexism will go out the door if they know they can bank on these women stars 100%. Yeah. Like, whatever. But that's my thing. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, I mean, my point was, number one, Wonder Woman's an iconic character. She's been around since the fucking 1930s or 1940s.
Which is why I feel like it met their expectations.
Yeah,
didn't exceed
it's a character that's been around since as long as Batman, as long as Superman, longer than Spider-Man. So it's a character when it comes to female superhero, Wonder Woman is your go-to. She had a TV show in the fucking 70s, for Christ's sake.
Right.
That's your go-to. That's one thing. The other thing was female director, which they pushed like a motherfucker. They were throwing that out left and right. I know for a fact that lots of fucking people that wouldn't have gone to see a superhero movie went to watch this specifically because it was a woman superhero directed by a woman. They don't give a fuck about any other superhero movie. They're not going to watch any other superhero movies.
Kudos to her.
They went to, and that's fine. But I'm saying
that's part of the universe.
That's part of the success of the fucking movie is like the SJW. And the way I know this is true is because if you look at gross, what it's done worldwide versus what it's done domestically, more than 50% of the profits have come here in the U.S.
That's good. I understand your point. That means there's a lot of SJWs in America.
What I'm saying is that the rest of the world doesn't give a fuck. Like
they just want to watch Wonder Woman.
They just want to watch a superhero movie. All they care about is explosions. They don't give a fuck who the lead is. But here in the States, we made it a point. And then this is for another time. We can look up the numbers and see how much other movies have done domestically. I was surprised. I figured it'd make way more money internationally than it did. I feel like other movies have made way more internationally.
Especially when you're doing superhero movies.
Right.
But people don't like women worldwide either.
No?
I mean, I'm super generalizing this, but I feel like the countries that would normally do well for like a Batman versus Superman, maybe not necessarily a female-led version of that.
No, they probably wouldn't.
And again, that's where the sexism comes into play.
Well, it's also like what the SJW movement can do here in the States is that they can push this movie to a place.
That's the internet, man. It's fucking true. Without the internet, how do they communicate? How do they talk with one another? How do you blow it up?
I don't know. I feel like people have been rallying. I mean, maybe that's why the women's rallies after Trump got elected were so big, or the inauguration.
They coordinated.
It's all, yeah. The women's network is strong in this country.
The SJW network is strong.
Yeah.
That's why Trump's in office. But anyway.
But I think that's going to wrap it up for us. You know the drill. Hit that bell if you made it through this entire YouTube cast. If you're listening on SoundCloud, we love interacting with you, Prodigy. So just leave comments. We'll be up. We're going to be doing a sports podcast. We're going to do a boxing preview later on this week.
It'll be up Friday. We'll record Thursday and it'll be up Friday.
Yep, Friday. And look out for reactions for it to hate on. We're going to have a bunch of stuff out. So we will see you next time. And PNG Talk.